Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair for you this evening. Look what made it into our showroom. That's right. Feast your eyes on it, people. It's a Williams Gorgar. A customer, or not a customer, a viewer, actually, brought us this game to work on. So I guess that makes him a customer. But he has done a lot of the work himself, has got the thing up and playing, but the most horrendous of all faults has befallen this Williams Gorgar. It no longer talks. Oh, man. So the speech doesn't work on it. So we've got to get that, we got to fix that, right? Now, here's the catch. He's already replaced all the boards, so it doesn't have the original speech board in it anymore. It's got a brand new one. And it still doesn't work, so we're going to figure that all out. But I figured we'd do a video. At the beginning, we'd show here just what kind of condition this sucker's in. We're not going to be doing much on the playfield and all of that. Mainly what we're going to be doing is fixing the speech, but we'll get to that in a minute. But why not check this thing out? We haven't had a Gorgar in our shop before. Very cool design. Got the Debil on it. That's D-E-B-I-L if you didn't know, the Debil. He has put all kinds of little cool accents on it. Like, look at that. Boy, don't that look cool. Gorgar says, wait until I stop talking before inserting coins. But he's not talking right now, so, you know. Of course, this side looks the same. I see new flipper buttons. Right? So there's a Backglass. I have to talk to Joe. I believe he wants me to triple thick his Backglass, so we're going to probably do that too. See what we're going to do with that. The playfield is in pretty good shape. Pretty good original shape. A little bit of wear. You always get the ball swirls on the playfield. But nothing major. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah. Nice plastics on it. I don't see any that are broken up or anything. Look how cool this thing is. Wow. Beware of the pit. What a cool game. Looks like it's got new pop bumper caps. He has done new the T-nut, or the nuts that hold the plastics on. Looks like it's got an all new rubber kit on it. Yeah, this thing's pretty good shape. Okay, so let me take the back glass out, and we're going to look in the back box. You ain't seen good shape till you've seen in the back box. So I'll pull the back glass out and go put it somewhere where it won't get messed up, and we'll check out what's going on in there. Okay, so first thing you notice, all new pin score displays. Very cool. New LEDs for the general illumination, but it looks like he's got the original incandescents in the switched illumination. I think people do that because it, well, I don't know if the board would handle that because I think it's a new driver board, but we'll see. But he's got these little concave LED bulbs to light up the back glass. Okay. But so there's two types of lighting on these. There's general illumination, which is the ones that are always on, and then there's switched illumination, which is the ones that the machine turns on and off. So like if it turns on the number 6, well the computer has to do that intelligently. You know, has to tell it to turn on. So there's switched illumination, and then there's general illumination, which is just on all the time. But in the back. Oh, here's his problem. Look, that's why the speech isn't working. I'm just kidding. He transported it to us. We had the head unhooked. Okay, so it has a new MPU, brand new, and we'll look at that a little closer here later. It's a Kahoot. I'm going to mess this all up. Kahoot Enterprises, LLC. Kohout, K-O-H-O-U-T Enterprises, LLC, System 3, 4, 6, and 7 replacement MPU board, which he bought from pinballpcb.com. I haven't ever used one of those, but I think they're pretty cool. So it's a replacement MPU. Now these boards had the original ones were laid out just like that, or very similar at least. And then they had a big driver board down here, which was laid out very similar to this one. But this is a brand new reproduction. So it's got a ribbon cable here that's not on the original because that's a better connection than this connection. So it originally had these posts that stick through these female connectors here and join the two boards together on the original boards. They call that the 40-pin interconnector, 40-pin, something like that. And those things were really problematic. So whenever they designed the new board, they put a ribbon cable that I guess probably does the same thing that it does, just so that you don't lose a signal. So the brand new replacement driver board, which makes all the lights and everything work, everything on it is in a socket. So if you have a chip that's bad, you can easily take it out. It's not soldered in. That's pretty cool. MPU board, all that looks cool. Okay, we've got the Rotten Dog Amusements brand new power supply. Right? And not everything's plugged in yet. And then this down here, Incognito's bridge rectifier board. So you've heard me say on videos before that there was a design flaw in these where they didn't put fuses on the bridge rectifiers, but this little board takes care of that problem. So that's pretty cool. And then this is a Swimmer Electronics, it says, S-W-E-M-M-E-R, Swimmer Electronics, sound and speech board. So this is the sound part. This is the speech part. Now the original boards were very similar. That had a board here that was the sound board, and then you had a speech board here that was connected with a ribbon cable. This one does not have a ribbon cable on it, but it says right on it, no interconnect cable needed. So you can bet we're going to figure out why is that. How in the hell are the signals getting across there if there's no cable on it? We'll take that out and look at it here in a little bit. But yeah, so that's that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug everything up, and I'm going to just see if the thing will boot up, and we'll see what he's talking about, the speech not working. We'll see if we can get the sounds to work and the speech not to work. It may very well be something really simple. Well, I'm sure ultimately it will be something really simple. It's going to be something simple to fix, but just finding what it is the problem. But it may even be like a jumper or something like that. So loose wire somewhere and a connector. It's probably going to be something simple because I believe that board has been tested working, so it should work as it is. Like these dip switches up here. Oh man, they're looking suspect to me. All right, so I'm going to plug everything in, and then we'll see if we can fire it up and see if everything's working. Whenever we move one and somebody shows up with one, I like opening them up and looking in them first, just making sure nothing bounced out of place or fell on top of something. You know, I mean, there could have been where the lock came loose and this metal bar is now hanging down on the power supply. And if you don't look and you don't see that, you turn it on and it blows up crap. So I like checking it out first. What do you think? All right, so let me plug some stuff in. Okay, I plugged everything in. Important. Attach ground strap for cabinet under wing nut. Got to make sure you do that. That's the one everybody always forgets. Okay, let's see if the thing made the trip. Try plugging her in here. Look for smoke. Boy, that's beautiful, isn't it? All the displays are working. Looks like all of the bulbs are working. All of these are working except the 2 is trying to not cooperate. That's not why we're here though. Let's see. Sometimes if you reach in and you wiggle it, it'll start working. No, I think that was a bad bulb. Okay. Alright, so it appears to be up and running. Let's check out these boards. This is cool. So, you know, we always do it from the wall, right? So we have this little board with a little LED on. I suppose that means that the solenoid bridge rectifier and the lamp bridge rectifier is working. And then we come up here to this. You know, this is weird that it doesn't have connectors there. Must just be so they can use it in different systems. Okay, everything looks cool there. And then the power runs from there over to the MPU board. A lot of stuff is lit up on there. That's good. And then down to here, the solenoid drivers. That bottom one says VCC, so that's the power. And then over here it says LED switch rows. Interesting. Up here it says switch drivers. They're all kind of, you can't, I've got a little bit too bright for you to see that. Let me show you what it's doing. There you go. So switch drivers. So basically what that's doing is it's sending out a signal. It's strobing the switch matrix. And then what this is showing you is that one of the rows, the switch is receiving the voltage because that would be a switch on that row is shut. And it's probably the out-hole switch. The pinball is sitting on the out-hole. I wonder if I can reach in there without getting electroshocked. I can't quite reach it, but watch the LED there. Well. All right, so it's, of course, all that's working. I'm just playing with it. Okay, so it's got all these little LEDs, lamp rows where they're all strobing and making things light up. So, very cool. All right, so it's a cool little design. And then we have the soundboard. Now again, this is a brand new board, so I don't know anything about these. But I see it says Swimmer Electronics. Mr. Swimmer, I appreciate that you put an LED behind it so that it would make your logo light up. That's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. Okay, so there is a red LED that says 12 volts. There is a green LED that says negative 12 volts. And there is a blue LED that says 5 volts. So I don't see any other power LEDs that are not working. I'm guessing that negative 12 they probably make up there with those voltage regulators and stuff. Okay, and then over here it says audio demo activated. And it says it's on standby. And then to the left of that it says 5 volts and negative 12 volts over on the speech board part. You know, the thing with these LEDs that is always a little bit of a thing is you got to kind of know which LEDs are supposed to be there. Like, I don't see any other ones, so I don't think there's any out. But that's what we're looking at. So apparently this board does not... I want to be careful how I say this because I do not think it's a problem with the board. So I'm not... This company, I believe, has checked it out and everything's cool. So I don't want to say, oh, the board doesn't work, and then people think, oh, those are bad boards. I don't think it's something like that. There's something else going on. So let's start it and just see if we get any kind of sound or what's going on. Okay, we did not get his growl or anything. May have something still unhooked because we're not getting any sound. All right, let me look and make sure that the volume's turned up. Okay, so the volume is way up. You can actually hear it humming if you get close to the speaker. Okay, so I'm going to hit the diagnostic button, which is probably going to make it make a lot of really loud noises. Nothing. Okay, cool. It says audio demo activated. So I think it's doing its thing. But we just don't have something in the cabinet working right. Could be... I'm just looking at stuff. Could be something wrong with the volume pot. Could be something wrong with the speaker. Could be something wrong with the wiring. Just let me see what I can figure out. So we still got our game on. So what I've done is I've removed the potentiometer cabling. Now on these Williams ones, it's very simple the way they do it. They just run 3 wires from the potentiometer that's mounted down here near the coin door up to a little connector. And so I'm just connecting from one wire to another, from one of the wires on the end to the wire that goes in the middle of the potentiometer. And with the potentiometer turned one way, we got 2 ohms resistance. And if I turn it the other way, it pretty smoothly goes through its range. And it gets up to on the other end, you got like 6 ohms resistance. Okay, so that's all good. And then, so that's not our problem. I checked the other way too, and it was fine. The other thing I did was I pulled the speaker loose, and I checked, instead of checking the speaker, I checked that on the wires. So check the resistance between this wire and this wire. So one of these black wires goes through the cable down to the bottom and connects to the speaker, and the other black wire goes down through it and connects to the speaker. And basically, if you check it up here, if you check resistance up here, you're checking the resistance through all the wiring and the speaker to make sure that there's no break in the wire or anything. And we've got about 8 ohms resistance. That's not the best way to check a speaker, but it's better than you're supposed to check impedance of the speaker. I don't have any way to check that, but I did check the resistance, and it's about 8 ohms, which usually is a pretty close to what the impedance is of it. Okay, so that's not it, and it's not the volume pot, so we're going to keep looking. Okay, folks, we called the customer just to get the details of exactly what's going on, and he said that basically it worked for a little while and then the soundboard stopped working. So something is fried or something, so we're going to figure it out. So I had some more time to mess with it today. So if you got to look at these from a try to make it logical where you can get as much ruled out as possible. If you mess around with the amplifier, you get like a buzzing sound, and whenever you turn up the volume, you can hear a buzzing sound. It gets louder and louder. Not really a buzz or where it's a problem, but you can hear just the crackle of power running through an amplifier, right? So the amp seems to be working. It could be that the input leg of the amp's dead or something like that. checked all the power. Of course, all the power works. You saw we checked the potentiometer. It's fine. We checked the speaker. It's fine. I tried turning it on with these disconnected. These are the signals that come from the MPU that tells it to what to do, like to make certain sounds trigger and all of that. So it could be that those are screwed up. So if those were locked on or something like that, or not doing what they were supposed to do, it might keep the board from being able to make any noise. That didn't seem to do it. I checked the dip switches. They are set correctly. Okay. I took out the ROMs and I checked them with a ROM burner, compared them to a known working file, and the ROMs are all fine. Again, it's a brand new board, right? So, and by the way, let me just say right here in this part of it, I think I said it earlier, but I am not criticizing this board. This is a very well-made board, and if you need one, this is a good one to get, it looks like to me. So then I started looking, and I swapped out the RAM, turned it back on, no change. I swapped out the PIA, the peripheral interface adapter, turned it on, no change. Again, these are all new sockets and a new board, but the chips are old stock. So they could, they could die at any time, and it would have nothing to do with the gentleman that made the board. Again, do not think this is because of a certain board from a certain manufacturer. It's not that. It's a part thing. So then whenever I pulled out the 6802, it looked fine. But when I put in a new 6802, Gorgar speaks. How cool is that? How cool is it to hear Gorgar speak? Okay, I'm going to set up the tripod. We're going to test play it just for a few seconds and then see if we see anything obvious wrong with anything on the playfield that we need to tinker with, since it didn't take us much to fix that. I messed around with it for about an hour and a half, but I didn't have to do much to it. So I'm going to set up the tripod, and we'll play a test game and just see if there's anything else that needs a little bit of attention. All these little white dots you're seeing, those are the reflection of the LEDs because I don't have the back glass in it. That's Gorgar's heartbeat, by the way. That drop might have not... The drop target may not registered. The Williams drop targets were pretty crappy. No lane change yet. It's a little floaty, in my opinion. It needs a little more pitch on the playfield. It's a little too flat. Move it up a little bit, that ball will roll a little faster, make it a little more fun. Just my opinion. I might do that and then tell the customer he can set it back the way it was if he wants it. Feed me. All right, I want to hit that beware of the pit target up there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that G, that first drop when you hit it, it doesn't make a noise. So I'm not so sure that target is working. Oh, they must be, because it knew to reset them, so it must be. Alright, so that's machine gunning a little bit. I'll show you how to fix that here in a second. Okay folks, so these kickers are the same on pretty much every game. They always have this same problem. The way it works is, you see this little switch here? So the ball hits the rubber ring, which closes the two blades on the switch. And that sends a signal to the machine to fire the kicker. And it kicks out, bam, and pushes the rubber ring out and knocks the ball away. And it kicks the ball. Slingshots, kickers, whatever you want to call them. So the problem is if the switch is adjusted too close like this one is, see how if you just barely move it, it touches? So what happens is it touches and then the kicker fires and then the rubber ring vibrates and shakes, which makes it touch again, which makes the kicker fire again, and it just gets stuck doing that machine gun. It sounds just like that. So how do you fix it? You just make it where the switch is a little farther apart. You don't really want to bend the switch, you just want them to be adjusted farther apart. There's a little tool you can get to adjust it. Basically you want the back one farther apart than the front one. Sometimes you can just bend it with your hand. There's a smaller blade down in there that is basically controlling where that back blade is, and so you have to bend the smaller blade, and there's a little tool you stick down in there and bend it a little bit. So I'm going to adjust it slightly, and then we'll see how it looks. So see how it has to move a little bit before it hits it? That's how you want it. And that way it kicks it a little better too. Alright, so we'll try it again and see if that fixed that up. Looks good to me. Let's see about this drop target. Alright, that seemed fine. Okay, and the shot I was talking about is if you make that shot up there. Nope, not quite. Nope, not quite. Still not quite. We're going to be here all day. I can't aim. I need Todd Tuckey to do this for me. He's real good at playing them with the glass off. Oh, 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 oh. We got you. All right. Spinner works. I believe everything's cool. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to wipe it down a little bit, and that should get it where everything is ready to go. And then we're going to mess with the back glass just a little bit. So here's the back glass. Unfortunately, as you can see, it has lost some paint. This is very common in Williams games. Boy, she looks like she's been through it. What the world is that? So you can see that certain colors have flaked away. And unfortunately, it's just a thing that happens. So we're going to protect it so that it doesn't get any worse. So what the guy did is he bought some triple thick crystal clear glaze. This is the stuff to use. So basically, if you paint this on the back of it fairly thick, and the reason that you use this, all this is clear coat basically, but it's really thick. It's In fact, triple thick. It's used for pottery and stuff like that, but it works really good for this exact thing, just because you want something on there thick to where it will actually physically hold the paint down. Instead of just being like a protective coating or something, you want it to literally hold chipping away paint from falling off of the game. So we're going to take this in the other room. I'm going to clean off these windows, so that, because if you have a thumbprint on it or something, it will be there permanently if you clear coat over it. And then I'm just going to clear coat the entire back of the back glass to keep that paint from getting any worse. And that will keep it kind of locked in how it is now, so it won't just continue to deteriorate. It's a shame too, because that's just such a cool back glass. Look how nice. You gotta love these late 70s, early 80s glasses. I mean, they just made some cool stuff. So I'll take it in the back room, and we'll throw a little triple thick on it. But they can wait. They can wait. I'm in no hurry. They can wait. It was a telemarketer. So this is what we're starting with. I took off the edge trim. This bottom piece, the channel lift, is hard to get off, believe it or not. And there's a small chance you break the glass when you take that off. So sometimes you can't take that off. So I cleaned the windows, got them nice and clear, or nice and clean. And I wiped down the back glass just a little bit, but I couldn't get most of the faded look off of it. Now keep in mind, you don't really see that because it's on the front, but it does affect kind of how the lights light up and things like that. So that's about as clean as I could get it. So we're going to take the triple thick, and you want this exact product. Don't get something else. It might work, but I know this works. You want this exact product. And we're going to do a light coat and then a thick coat. And then the last thing we're going to do is make sure that we kind of have a wet edge. If you've painted anything, you kind of know how that goes. You want a wet edge over the windows, because you don't want like a line where you sprayed half of the window or something. When it dries, it'll have a slightly different texture and you'll be able to see it. Some people say tape off the windows. A lot of work, and you just creating a bunch of problems for yourself, because if you tape off the windows, then when you peel them off, you lose paint too. So it's not worth it. Just paint right over the windows. You're gonna paint everything. No problems. Unfortunately, look how bad the name has faded away. But it is what it is. We're going to save it where it doesn't get any worse. So shake your yoo-hoo, and then we'll go with a light coat. Now, if you need some of this stuff, you can get it on our website. We have a link to it on Amazon, and if you use that link, we get a little tip for sending you there. So go to lionsarcade.com, and then at the top there is a parts page, and we've got all the little tricky stuff like this that we use linked up on there. And then we also have some of our like t-shirts and stuff like that. If you enjoy the channel, you can buy something like that to help support us. So I'm going to put a light coat on, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so we got a light coat on it. This stuff dries pretty fast. And then we're going to put a heavier coat on it, just so that we're building up the paint on the back of it, so it's nice and thick. And if any of that stuff tries to come loose, the paint will say, "Oh no, you don't," and hold it in place. So we'll do that, and then we'll let it dry, and then we're ready to pop it back in the machine. Usually takes a few hours to dry up. Okay, so whenever you're painting it, the last thing you want to do, see how you can see that it's not all one texture? So you want to, last thing you do, kind of get the windows wet where it stays nice and one sheen. And that'll ensure when it dries that it dries clear, that you can see through it nice and clear, instead of having weird spots or lines or whatever, where you can see that one coat stopped here and then dried and then you never coated it again, etc., etc. All right, folks, we got the back glass drying, and I went ahead and swapped and fixed the bulb that wasn't working. It was literally just a burnt out light bulb. That's a 10-cent special there. That wasn't that big of a deal. And then the other only thing, I wiped it down just a little bit just to clean it up. And the only other thing that's bothering me just a little bit is the skirts were a little dirty on the pop bumpers. So I cleaned those two. This one I haven't cleaned yet. You can clean those up. You can actually use a little piece of a magic eraser to do that. You just don't want to get it on the... Since basically the playfield's in pretty decent shape, you know, we don't really want to mess with it. It's nice and waxed and clean and everything looks good. So you can use just a little piece of magic eraser to where you're just on the ring of the pop bumper. And there's also Mylar there, you know, so we're not rubbing on the thing. And you can just kind of clean it up a little bit. And makes it look nice and white again. So I'm cleaning those up a little bit, and then we'll test it again, and I think we'll be good to go. So this is how it ends up looking after you get it on there. It is thick. It's all dry now. Now look at the windows because of the way we did it. Nice and clear, people, because we hit them one time right at the end, right? Nice and clear. No need to tape it off. So it's now in good protected shape. So you could go from here and repaint what you wanted. We're not going to do that in this instance. There's a whole bunch of spots on it. I don't even know if it would make it look much better, but it certainly won't get any worse. And the gentleman can decide if he wants to try to touch it up or just leave it how it is. So, but it ain't going to get any worse. So we'll slide it back in the game and see what she looks like. Okay, so we just cleaned up the playfield a little bit. And the back glass looks good. Nice and triple thick. I also oiled the spinner. It was bugging me. We didn't charge you for that, Frank. So I think it looks great. So we'll test play it just for a second. But I'm going to do a whole other video, I think, showing off all of the greatness that is Gorgar. Because it's such a special game. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. But let me set up the tripod. We'll do a test play, and just to make sure that it looks like nothing's acting up, I think we're good to go. Okay, so we'll play a game. We're looking for the speech, just to make sure all the sounds and everything sound right. And that basically all they wanted us to do was figure out the soundboard thing. So I think we have. That heartbeat in the background you can turn off if you want to. God, you. But I missed. God, you. That switch there is not working, but we'll get that. Needs to be cleaned a little bit. That one. Oh, I had to throw it away. He's hurt. God, you. one left up at the top there. Oh, I missed it. That's a pretty good ball, number one, right? Oh, I missed it. Oh. All right, there it is. So I got 228,400 points. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for filming it. Check out our website like we talked about. And by the way, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie, which is our brother channel. If you like watching us work on old pinball machines, you might like watching he and I work on old buildings. We have a couple old buildings we bought that we're trying to fix up to revitalize downtown in small town USA. So go check out my brother Donnie, and we will see you on the next video. I'm going to do another one playing it, so check for that soon.